Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the Planning Commission meeting, May 1st, 2018. We have 6 of 7 Planning Commissioners in attendance, and we excuse Commissioner Green this evening. On our consent calendar, we have the approval of minutes from April 17th, 2018. Commissioner Quinney.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Luthi.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Quinney and a second by Commissioner Luthi. Is there any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, let's please vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Our first public hearing this evening is Campus View Lot Number 5 Retail, 7574 South, Campus View Drive. Preliminary Site Plan, SC3 Zone, Diversified Design Services, and Ing LLC, Brandon Lundeen, are the applicants. Present this evening? Please come forward and present your application. Thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm Brandon with Diversified Design, and just wanted to present this project to you guys tonight and see if you guys have any questions about it.
Great. And any specifics that you can tell us about your application, please?
A little past history. I think years ago this was actually they had an approved design for this lot, never ever really built it, so they've come back this year. It's just a 3-tenant retail strip center. We already have 2 tenants for it. We have Beans and Brews going to move from the building to the east into that building, as well as K Jewelers is going to be moving into the other end of the building. We have 1 vacancy in the middle of it, and looking to just get it filled up and just have some more retail space out there.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Hanson.
Can you tell me what K George is?
What's that?
What is your second?
K Jewelers. Sorry.
K Jewelers.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
The diamond people.
I knew that part.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Lundeen? All right, we'll save some time for you if anything comes up in the public comment section from all of the public that is present this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for the city, we have Ms. Elgin presenting tonight.
Good evening, Commissioners. The project in front of you tonight deals with a commercial building being built in Jordan Landing at the corner of Plaza Center Drive and Campus View Drive. It is located clearly surrounded by other commercial buildings. It's located within the regional commercial designation, and it's completely surrounded by other SC3 regional commercial zone districts or parcels in the zone district. As you can tell, it's going to the proposed building is compatible with all of its surrounding buildings. And on March 27th, the Design Review Committee voted unanimously to recommend a positive recommendation to the Planning Commission for the project. I would point out that the parking, I'll go back on this. The parking on this is actually off-site. It's down to the southwest and over to the southeast of the project, and the trash enclosure is also located on the southeast of the parcel. A new agreement is required between the parcel owners that would allow for that and not cause any problems in the future if one parcel is sold off. Mr. Murray has already approved the language in the agreement to be recorded, and it will be required to be recorded before final approval.
Great, thank you, Ms. Elgin. Any questions for staff? Doesn't look like it, so we'll open it up to the public. Would anyone like to comment on this item? The time is now yours. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the Commission for discussion. Commissioner Hatch.
Hi, thank you. I do have a question. Can you show me on this map where the parking is? Is it just, I'm trying to get my bearings. Oh, in that little section right there. Okay. All right, thank you. That was it.
Commissioner Hanson.
If we're ready, I'm ready to make a motion.
Please.
Based on the information and findings set forth in this staff report and upon evidence and explanation received today, I move that the Planning Commission approve preliminary site plan for Campus View Drive, lot number 5, located at 7574 South Campus View Drive in the SC-3ZC Regional Shopping Center, conditions of zoning zone district, subject to the conditions 1, 2, and 3 listed in our staff report.
Thank you. Commissioner Quinney?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hanson and a second by Commissioner Quinney. A loud second by Commissioner Quinney. Any discussion to the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you for doing business in West Jordan. Best wishes to you. The last item on the agenda this evening is Zone 4 New Bingham Highway 4MG Reservoir, 6700 West New Bingham Highway, preliminary and final site plan, conditional use permit, and minor subdivision plat, PF Zone. City of West Jordan, Tim Hayron is the applicant. Would you like to come forward and present the application? Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be with you tonight, Commissioners. Thank you for taking the time. Excuse me. So this is the second follow-up Planning Commission meeting on this project. So tonight you have before you the site plan and also the plat. And you can see that there is landscaping areas. The idea of landscaping is to have some evergreen and possibly some deciduous trees with rock as well. We're looking for a low maintenance, zero-scape landscape. We're also putting up a fence along the entire perimeter of the water tank property. The fence will be metal, wrought iron on the front, and it will be black vinyl coated chain link fence around the sides and back. The property is already purchased. The city owns both lots. And we are building a water reservoir there, a 4 million gallon water reservoir, which will service our water pressure in the industrial and some of the neighborhoods out there. I don't think there's anything else. The roads will be paved on the interior with regular asphalt, and there is an entrance, just one entrance off of the New Bingham Highway. Currently we have one entrance existing. That entrance will be located farther to the east. And we are in negotiations currently with UDOT on that, and they have given us preliminary approval for that change in access. In the future, you can see that there is another parcel to the east, which will be a park/detention pond area. None of that has been designed at this point. There is a connection off of Echo Ridge 6. Echo Ridge 6 has a road that dead ends abutting into that parcel, and that can serve as a neighborhood park access for those folks.
Great, thank you. Questions? Commissioner Quinney?
Just curiosity, so that road's going to remain just a stub road, or is it going to actually be continued into the park?
The preliminary plan is to continue that road into the park, and it will include parking and basically just a place where people can get there, set up their parking.
Thank you.
The only question that I had is, on the bottom of page 2, it talks about how nice this'll look. We've got, it's going to be, within 2 feet of height above the ground. The new and old tanks will be painted the same color. Side access will be improved with 1 single access point. Maintenance roads will have asphalt. And that there'll be a sidewalk that's in alignment with the adjacent residential development. I love the 6-foot high ornamental fence that you mentioned, I'm just curious about the chain link fence. You know, not being a big fan of chain link, is that going to be a permanent fixture, or would that go away as development comes to that side? Could you just tell us a little bit more about the chain link?
Sure. It's not your standard chain link fence. This is a black coated, so it's a vinyl black coated chain link fence. If we were to do a metal wrought iron fence around that entire site, that would really be expensive. Without really a need for it, there won't be necessarily residences located right there, at least for now. And those residential subdivisions, should they choose to come in, can choose to put in their own more expensive fence if they so desire. On the west side will be located a future road, so that's not really a concern.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thanks for your time, Mr. Hayrand, and we go to Mr. Page for the presentation on this.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Tim. I think he gave a good overview. The City of West Jordan's Public Works Department is requesting your approval of the preliminary and final site plan, a conditional use permit for large utilities in the public facilities zone, and also for a minor subdivision approval. This is all subject to the City Council's approval of rezone to public facilities and a change to the general land use ordinance, the general land use amendment. That's just for like 1.15 acres. But the City Council will consider those items next week. Staff would appreciate your consideration of going forward with this conditional use permit, minor subdivision, and site plan, subject to the City Council's approval of the rezone and the general land use amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Any questions for staff? Well, the question that I had then is, because I've seen this happen before, is when a subdivision does go in there in the future, so they would run, let's say, like a rhino rock fence or an ornamental type fence parallel to that chain link fence, and then in that gap there's usually weeds that grow, and would that fence be able to be taken down and the developer put up a fence, or because that's city property, we need to maintain it with a city fence for security? Just trying to think down the road. Obviously I'm not advocating, well, as Mr. Hayrand said, that would be really expensive to have the wrought iron fence all the way around, but just trying to be future oriented. Any thoughts?
If you could look closely, I'm sorry we don't have a better map, and Tim, you can please correct me, and Larry, if I can be more accurate, but the diagonal line that's kind of running up from Jones Family that'll go, meets the line that's going east and west. Just the south of that line is a natural drainage that's currently directed into the residential subdivision. The plan is for that natural drainage to be diverted north, to the detention basin in the future. So I see at least the diagonal line that's a little bit odd shaped, just following the kind of the natural terrain or topography of the land. But that is a good question. How will the future development of this property unfold? The proposal is for it to be all rezoned from A20 to public facilities. So they're just south of there, isn't that still be A20? Yeah. So just south of there be still A20 for the zoning.
So that wash that's along there, our current open space plan requires, whenever those washes are developed, there's a 50-foot easement, from the center of the wash. And so this fence would end up, on the very north side of that, and probably be in that easement, whether it be a trail associated with this. I believe there's a trail system that could be on either side. And so, but the fence is vital for the security of the water tanks, because they are, they are locked and they're hard to get into, but it's just one more barrier to keep people away from a drinking water supply. In the day and age we live in, it's, all precautions have to be taken. And so, and as Tim said, the chain link won't be the standard old ugly galvanized. It's that non-climbable Teflon coated or poly coated. So it does look better than the standard, and what I'd be most concerned about is the frontage of New Bingham Highway will have the wrought iron, so that'll match what is already there. And so I don't see with it being along that wash that really being that big of a detractor from any new homes or whatever goes in. I'm almost certain there'll be some kind of residential use, but I think it can be compatible with that. And so, because they won't be right up against the water tank. So.
Thank you. Commissioner Luthi.
I thought this area south of here was part of that big discussion that we had about planning this whole future land use area. Wasn't this zoned to be that light industrial as well? I thought there was no more residential on that side of New Bingham at all. I thought the agreement was that even the stuff that's there shouldn't have been, but the rest of it is going to be.
You're absolutely right. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is an industrial park, and you can see the gray area.
Yeah, that was my memory on it.
Yeah. So.
Very good memory. Thank you. Good question. Any other questions for staff? All righty, then. We'll open this up to the public. Feel free to come on down and give us your best 3 minutes. Going once, going twice. We'll close the public comment section. Commissioner Quinney.
Unless anybody has an objection, I'm just going to make a motion.
Please.
Based on the information and findings set forth in the staff report and upon the evidence and explanations received today, I move the Planning Commission approve the preliminary and final site plan for Zone 4 New Bingham Highway 4 MG Reservoir, conditional use permit for large-scale public utility, and the minor subdivision plat West Jordan NBH Zone 4 Tanks and Pond Subdivision, 6700 West New Bingham Highway, subject to City Council approval of GLUA and rezone number 15838.
Commissioner England.
I second that.
Thank you. A motion by Commissioner Quinney, second by Commissioner England. Any discussion? Let's please vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 6-0. Which brings us to the conclusion of our meeting this evening. A friendly reminder that we have a Planning Commission meeting on the 15th, and then a joint City Council General Plan Planning Commission meeting on the 29th. Commissioner Luthi.
I'd like to move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
We are adjourned till the 15th.
Hoorah.